For the next minute or two, I'm just going to very briefly introduce IALS and how we got to hosting this innovation showcase. So just wanted to share with you some themes around what IALS actually is. Very broad interdisciplinary institute. We represent all the different schools and colleges on the campus, all of the departments, and as you can see, we're really trying to be difference makers. We're trying to be catalysts to enable a technology not only to result in research publications that might sit dormant for many years before they are acted on. We're trying to shorten that timeline between a discovery being made that could have impact in the real world and actually making that impact. So we're trying to be catalysts. We enable research in translational directions by making a lot of equipment facilities available. We're trying to increase the student training experience around what it actually means to work on a translational project, where the timelines are a little different, where you actually have to deliver something with a dollar amount that you said you would get on the timeline that you said you would. And that's not so common in an academic environment. So we're really, like I said, trying to add this culture change component. In terms of our specific objectives, we have 4 specific objectives. One of them is to be this catalyst that enables activities like this on our campus. The second is to engage industry in appropriate ways, whether it's mentoring some of our startup companies, whether it's actually taking a license, collaborating with us. There's a lot of benefits to be gained by these industry relationships, and in part, I know of what I speak. I've spent about half of my career in academia, and I've spent the other half of my career in industry, both in large companies, Wyeth and Pfizer, as well as some smaller startup companies that we created. Proteostasis, Cogent Neuroscience were 2 companies that we created ourselves, and both of them had reasonably good exits. We also contribute to workforce development. As I've said, we try to bring students into this new type of culture environment. Academia is usually a place that rewards individual excellence, and in industry, nearly always what's rewarded is group activities, group science, group projects. And it often takes academics a long time to figure out how to work in an environment like that, where it isn't all about you, it's all about the team. And so we're trying to provide some of these experiences for some of our students as well. And of course, the culture shift I've mentioned already. So those are our missions. They're all pretty difficult, and I'd say of all of them, the 4th one is probably the most difficult. If you've ever tried to implement culture change in any organization, even of 5 or 10 people, it's difficult. Imagine what it's like when you have 45,000 people on our campus. So I do want to spend a minute or two just thanking some of the organizations that have really enabled this. You know, in part, we are in this building with nice fit outs and slightly more interesting environment than some of the other academic spaces due to a large investment from the Mass Life Science Center that actually contributed quite a lot of dollars to allow us to build this infrastructure in Western Mass, and also from the campus itself. UMass has really put a lot of resources into allowing us to create this environment and undertake the mission that we're moving forward. So we really want to thank both the MLSC and the campus for their investments. The other group I'd really like to thank is the Manning Family Foundation. They have actually put a gift on the table that allows us to do things that are not squarely within the usual campus mission of training students and getting research grants, but that are more focused on helping our startups succeed, trying to get them through that valley of death while they have a great idea that hasn't been de-risked enough for a venture company to come in and say, yes, we'll take this on. To try to get our companies through that valley really takes some resources that are not easily found on academic campuses. And so the Manning Family Foundation's gift has really allowed us to kickstart this, at least for the next 3 years. During that time, we're going to be knocking on a lot of doors and hopefully raise more dollars that we can keep going with this effort. Just to give you a sense of what this effort actually is, this is just a very high-level snapshot that gives you a sense of the number and types of companies that we're engaged with now. And to me, this might look pretty thin by Cambridge standards. When I first joined UMass about 6 years ago, we had exactly 1 name on this slide. So I feel like in the last 5 years, there has been some real progress made, and There's this dotted line near the top of the slide. That's that sort of magical, undefined line where an enterprise has been de-risked to the point where a VC company will come in behind it and put real dollars there, or the company actually becomes profitable. And we have examples of both of these. And of course, our objective is to lead as many or help as many companies transition that valley of death and cross that magic dotted line as we possibly can. So that really brings us to today, where we've assembled a fraction of the portfolio that we're interacting with, but a number of our startups have agreed to present some lightning pitches to you just to give you a sense of what is the breadth and types of startup activities that we're going through on our campus. So thanks a lot, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the lightning pitches.
Thank you, Peter. From here on out, we're going to hear 10, 11 pre-startups and startups from our facility here from the campus. We wanted to give you a really broad view of what they are, so we have included some very early, what we call pre-startups, that are at the idea stage that you saw on Peter's slide. We also have some real companies here who have real employees and are on the cusp of crossing that dotted line, that magical dotted line. So we really want to give you an array. I want to thank all of our presenters in advance for coming and doing this. We're delighted to have you. And I'm just what we're going to do is have each one come up, talk for a minute, tell you about their idea or their company, and then we're going to have a couple minutes for a short Q&A. But as you can see on our tables, everyone has every presenter has a tent card, and if you want to ask them more, meet with them over lunch, write down questions on the Post-it notes. We're really looking to stimulate dialogue and to let you know some more about the fantastic ideas from the campus. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Adam Grabel, who's from the Department of Psychology and Brain Sciences. Adam came to talk with us, I guess, over the summer or so, or late last spring. He participated in I-Corps. He participated in a pitch event we had over the summer. He's just getting started, and I'm very excited. Adam, where are you? Over here, please.
Thanks, Karen. So I'm Adam from Early Screen, and we're focused on early childhood mental illness, which I think everyone here knows is a national crisis. So 1 in 6 kids in early childhood has a mental health diagnosis. That's 5 million kids, and it's actually an underestimate of the true problem. There are millions of kids who don't have a diagnosis, who should have one, who need one so they can access treatments that could improve their lives. And this problem stems from 2 big obstacles. The first is that before age 5, common mental illness is really hard to tell apart from common normal misbehavior like temper tantrums. So parents are in this precarious wait-and-see position where they might be losing time. And second, if you want a diagnosis, you're dealing with a mental health care system that's stretched beyond its capacity. So child clinics have months-long wait lists, and this leaves millions of parents who desperately need this critical piece of information. Should I be concerned about my child? But they can't get that information easily. So Early Screen is a mobile app game for preschool kids. You can download it anywhere. It takes 10 minutes to play. It uses computer vision to generate an automated mental health risk report that is as accurate as commonly used clinical tools in the real world. And if you want to see Early Screen in action and learn more about how we're trying to put it in the hands of families, come visit me at my table. Thanks.
Next, we're going to hear from Professor Alexander Suvorov. Again, a very early idea stage, and very different from, although related to families and children in a way. Come on up, please, Sasha. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Sasha, that's a short name. So we work on development of a drug to rejuvenate sperm in older men and to improve health of their kids. So do you know that kids born, conceived by fathers older than 40 have 2 times higher risk of developing schizophrenia than kids conceived by fathers younger than 25? So today we know that many adverse health conditions like neurodevelopmental and psychiatric disorders, many forms of cancer, are transferred from fathers to their offspring via changes, age-dependent changes in inheritable programs in their sperm. And no therapies exist today to reverse those changes and to rejuvenate spermatozoa. So we identified a group of chemical compounds which can return those inheritable programs to their younger self in our experiments. And as Karen told us, we are at the startup stage. We are testing this hypothesis and have fantastic results. Please find me if you are interested in our research. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from ISight, which is, we're moving into startup territory. And Muthu, please, from Polymer Science, please come up and tell us about your company.
Starting up. Thank you, Karen. So as announced, my name is Muthu for short. Okay, as I stand in front of you, the connection between me and all of you and the rest of the whole universe is my eye. If I can't see, I know nothing. Did you know that today, worldwide, more than 65 million people are suffering from vision loss, and 20 million people are blind due to cataract? Now, each one of us here will develop cataract if we live long enough. Today, the only cure to deal with this disease is surgery. So my startup company, ISight, Therapeutics, is aiming to change this. We invented a topical application to treatment of eye to prevent, intercept, and reverse cataract without surgery. And our patented technology has been validated through studies using cadaver eyes, mice, porcine models. And in the United States alone today, there are 24 million people who are affected by cataract. This number is going to go up to 39 million in 2030. And our technology has a great potential to bring sight back to many, many people in the world without surgery. And also it's going to significantly reduce the financial burden on our society. And please see me. I'll be very happy to share with our technology, details of our technology. And thank you.
Next, we have Griffin O'Driscoll from Organicin Scientific. Griffin is an alum, and he got started on this company as an undergraduate and has pursued it in a number of ways. So I'll turn it over to Griffin.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Griffin O'Driscoll, CEO of Organicin, and we are solving ambitiously the challenge of bacterial disease. In short, antibiotics have worked really well for the past 100 years, but it's not the solution for the next 100 years. Our healthcare systems and our food systems are overly reliant on these drugs, and with resistance and dwindling efficacy, we're at a really vulnerable spot, and alternatives are needed. So at Organicin, we're building a drug discovery platform that leverages machine learning to more efficiently discover antibiotic alternatives, in this case, a class of antimicrobial proteins known as bacteriocins, and we're developing them into niche applications for aquaculture, agriculture, human health. It's an industry-agnostic platform. As long as it's bacteria, we seek to kill it. We raised our pre-seed round this August. We just graduated from Techstars in October, and we're raising our seed round in January. If you are excited about killing bacteria and manipulating microbiomes as much as I am, that's my table, and I'd love to talk your ear off. So thank you.
Next, another student idea, Connor MacFarlane, whom I met when he was a sophomore. He's a senior now. He did our local innovation core, I-Core program, and he has not let anything stop him. He's a true entrepreneur. Please, Connor, come and tell us about MacFarlane Medical.
So, hello everybody, my name is Connor MacFarlane, and when I was 16, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and it changed my life. I had to reinvent my diet, and as a college student and an athlete, managing my insulin regimen has not been easy. Like a majority of the over 200,000 people under the age of 20 diagnosed with diabetes in the US, I have been forced to take multiple injections of insulin every single day in order to manage my blood sugar level. The current solution to frequent injections is to buy an expensive and hard-to-use pump that stays connected to the patient's body all day long with a thin tube. These devices are easily ripped out during everyday activities, and most aren't even waterproof, making an act as simple as taking a shower a dangerous ordeal. We are working to bring simplicity and reliability to people suffering from the inadequacies of insulin delivery devices through the development of a wearable drug delivery port that eliminates the need for frequent subcutaneous injections or complicated, unreliable, and expensive pumping devices. If you'd like to learn more and to see a functional prototype, come by my table. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Elateq, which is a company. We haven't talked to you about the collaborators yet, but Elateq found us. They wanted to be in the collaborators, so they came from off campus to join our community. Lily, please.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Lily Raic, and I'm a co-founder and chief science officer at Elateq, where we offer advanced wastewater treatment solutions. Our patent-pending technology enables significant CapEx and OpEx savings compared to alternative solutions, and that ultimately provides much more sustainable compliance to our clients. So we operate in this regulatory-driven market of wastewater treatment. This is a result or a product of a unique electrochemical approach that our technology is based on, which allows us to provide all-in-one treatment without use of chemicals, with very low energy use, and with ease of maintenance. As a result of all these benefits, we actually partnered with PepsiCo Global Sustainability Initiative to support their goals of maximizing water reuse at their factories across the globe. And as we are scaling up now, we are seeking funding and new hires to fulfill these demands for our systems, not only from PepsiCo, but other clients as well. Yeah, I'm open to any questions, and I'll be over there to talk more.
Next, we're going to hear from Optical Waters, and actually we have the team is here to pitch. So Katrina Fitzpatrick and Mariana Lopez, please join us up here. And you can see that we are starting to move from the pre-startup to the startup stage.
And have more women.
And
Maybe there's a correlation.
Good morning. Have you ever wondered what lurks in the coils of your air conditioner? What about the pipes of your coffee maker or ice machine? How about your shower hose? If you guessed bacteria, you're right. Bacteria can attach to any surface and form a colony called a biofilm. Biofilms in water lines, process pipes, appliance tubings, and medical channels cause operational issues, infections, and deaths. Current strategies are short-term toxic chemicals. At Optical Waters, we're developing a new solution that for the very first time will bring UV light to these hard-to-reach spaces. The OptoStrand is the first UV side-emitting optical fiber that once inserted into a pipe will disinfect the entire length. Professor Mariana Lopez and I co-founded Optical Waters. We are building our minimum viable product, expanding to new applications, growing our team, and raising funds. If you'd like to know more, be sure to grab our one-page summary and also come chat with us afterwards. Thank you.
Another student idea, born right on the campus, rStream Recycling, worked with me on I-Core, but has done so much more since. Please come up and tell us about your company.
In 2017, China enacted Operation National Sword, prohibiting America from exporting our waste recycling to them for remanufacture. Since then, despite ESG goals, despite infrastructural investments, American recycling systems are only 30% effective at collection. And as a result, $12 billion worth of scrap value recyclables get sent directly to landfill every year. At rStream, we're applying robotics to enhance the performance of the American recycling system, making sure that recyclables end up at recycling centers, trash ends up in landfill with little cross-contamination. The opportunity here is that we allow waste haulers to capture more recyclables so that they can capitalize on that scrap value. They can improve their operational efficiency, and they can retain clients like UMass Amherst, for example, by offering a premium sustainable service. We're currently at Greentown Labs working on an NSF SBIR to develop the prototype, and we'd be happy to share more at our table after this.
Next, we're going to hear from Professor Craig Martin, who has just started a company. I'm thrilled to say that. He's going to talk. He's going to talk about RNA for therapeutics.
Hi, thank you. As an academic, I've got some notes here to keep myself under a minute. The overwhelming success of the two COVID vaccines has demonstrated the immense potential of RNA as a therapy. But have you heard about the third RNA vaccine from a company called CureVac? Many of you have not heard of that because it turns out that they were unable to reduce the component in the manufactured RNA that causes inflammation. They were unable to reduce that sufficiently, and therefore they had to dose at a lower level, and their clinical trials came out at 40% efficacy. I think their vaccine was perfectly fine, but they needed to get these impurities down lower. Emerging RNA therapies like CRISPR and gene replacement therapies such as treatments for cystic fibrosis, require fully non-inflammation causing RNA, inducing RNA. And they need it at scale. Now, removing these components from current batch manufactured RNA is expensive and more importantly, is incomplete. Our RNA for therapeutics strategy is to change the manufacturing process so that we eliminate the production of these inflammation-causing impurities at the outset, and therefore we don't have to do any purification. Our flow manufacturing process is fundamentally different from the batch manufacturing approach that's currently being used. And that batch processing approach is really 30 years old now. We're creating single path workflows that will enable a wide variety of RNA therapeutics to enter clinical trials and eventually make it to patients. I'd love to talk with you more about the potential here and the details.
Okay, we have two left. I want to welcome Alex Nichols from Florent. Florent is a collaboratory, what we call a collaboratory company. They moved to Amherst to be in our collaboratories, to take advantage of the core facilities that you'll hear about in a little bit. But also, this is an extraordinary team. Alex is representing them today. It's 3 alumni founders who met on campus, I think, and then came back to build their company here. So Alex, please come up and tell us about Florent.
Morning, everybody. My name is Alex Nichols, co-founder and chief engineer at Florent. So Florent is an early-stage deep tech company that is innovating the next generation of high energy density ultracapacitors. We are also one floor up and down the hall in the collaboratories. here at IALS. So with gigawatts of solar and wind power coming online on the energy supply side, and technologies like electrified buildings and EV charging coming online on the demand side, our grid is going to experience incredible strain over the coming decades. Ultracapacitors are going to be a critical technology in helping to address this strain, hybridizing with battery energy storage systems, to increase their lifespan and lower overall system cost. At Florent, we are innovating high energy density ultracapacitors that have the same energy per unit mass as a lead acid battery. That's 3 times the energy of other ultracapacitor technologies available on the market today. This innovation will decrease ultracapacitor cost and help them accelerate the clean energy transition and remove bottlenecks to critical renewable technologies deployment over the coming decades. So right now, Florent is raising pre-seed funds, and what else are we doing? Oh, we're hiring. So if you know anyone with money or with material science background, please send them my way.
Next and final pitch is from Ernest Pharmaceutical. We have 2 presenters here, Nela Van Dessel, the CEO, and Neil Forbes, whose lab created this technology, or created the foundation for this technology.
Thank you, Karen. Cancer is often deadly because it is hard to get the right drug to the right place. For my entire career, I have focused on finding solutions to this problem. Our lab has developed bacterial therapies that home directly to tumors, invade only cancer cells, and deliver killer therapeutics directly into the cytoplasm exactly where they're needed. We have shown that this technology can eliminate pancreatic tumors and liver tumors, and we founded Ernest Pharmaceuticals to bring that technology to the clinic.
Our business plan is twofold. Our main focus is our own pipeline. We've developed 2 assets that are targeting pancreatic and liver cancer, and we've raised $2 million in non-dilutive funding to develop these to this point. We've also had a team of 5 working on these. In addition to that, we've created this bacterial platform that we can out-license to pharmaceutical partners so that they can also target those intracellular pathways that are currently undruggable. And for that, we currently have 1 co-development that's ongoing and 1 contract that's under negotiation. So at this point, we're doing a $17 million Series A raise so we can get our first pipeline asset into the clinic and start clinical trials. And so if you have any connections or questions or money, feel free to find us at our table and come talk to us.
So we've really tried to give you all a really broad overview here of some of the startups, and only some. Remember the slide Peter showed you. It didn't happen by accident. We have an ecosystem, and I want to, this is some of them. Of course, we have our fantastic colleges where our faculty reside and conduct research both in IALS and in the colleges. We have my iCore site. I'm my own partner in the ecosystem. We have our fantastic, we have a fantastic team of business innovation fellows, many of whom are here today, who work with scientific founders to build business cases. We have Paulina Borrego here. We have a fantastic library on campus which just has so many resources, including a U.S. Patent and Trademark Office Resource Center, and Paulina Borrego is our fantastic intellectual property librarian on campus. We have the Tech Transfer Office in the room. Burnley Jaklovic is the director. None of this would be possible without all of these people and more. And so I also want to acknowledge some external partners. We're always keen on developing external partners. I especially want to call out Feinberg Hansen. We have an attorney who does startup law office hours. We have Wolf Greenfield, a Wolf Greenfield attorney who does intellectual property law office hours. And of course, we have the Manning Family Foundation, for whom we are deeply grateful for their support. So thank you all. With that, I'm going to mention a couple of internal resources. You've heard about the collaboratories, but last and not least, the core facilities that are in this building and that many of you are about to go see. So my thanks to the Manning Foundation, but even more important, we want to showcase the opportunities they're providing. I'm going to bring Peter Reinhart back up, and he is going to talk about this.
I do want to go back to this slide. When you saw this slide earlier, it probably didn't have a lot of context. We hope after seeing some of these lightning presentations, you'll start recognizing one or two of the names on there. You'll agree with us that there's some level of de-risking that's been going on, and some of these companies are now actually moving very close to being ready for VC investments. In fact, some of them are having discussions over the next few weeks related to that. So it is a very vibrant ecosystem. But as Karen mentioned, it is difficult for an academic environment to help startup companies transition this valley of death. It used to be in the old days, when I was doing this back in the 90s and 00s, that this is where angel investors would step in. There was actually a lot more non-dilutive money available. And VCs were actually much more open to engage in early stage technology. I think everything has taken 3 steps to the right. If you aren't close to the clinic or if you aren't close to a product, you're much less interesting. And that has created this pit called the Valley of Death. And we're trying to help some of our homegrown startup companies transition that. And what has been hugely helpful is this gift from the Manning Family Foundation that has provided us 3 years of funding to help our startup companies transition the Valley of Death and hopefully allow them to mature and become de-risked to the point where they truly become credible venture capital investments. So I wanted to really thank the Manning Family Foundation for this really enabling gift. And with that, I also wanted to acknowledge who the 2022 Manning IALS awardees are. We were able to make 6 awards in 2022. These are pretty significant awards for an academic campus. They're $100,000 each. So we've made 6 awards of $100,000. And I'm just going to briefly flick through the 6 awardees. Maybe at the end you'll join me in congratulating all 6 of them, but I'll just jump through them. The first of these is Hasentech. It's a company started by Barbara Osborne. And it is really using her insights gained over decades of immunology research to come up with a therapeutic molecule that she believes has efficacy in graft versus host disease and, frankly, a range of other immune response type diseases, including multiple sclerosis, Crohn's, lots of other things. Very promising technology. This is one of our awardees. The second one you heard from earlier, Mutu. I'm not sure if he's still here. Yes, he is back there. This is for ISight Therapeutics. You heard the lightning pitch related to cataracts. We think it's really promising technology. The third one is Elateq Diagnostics. This is a technology that rapidly detects bacterial infections in blood. As you know, often you need to have antibiotic susceptibility assays, responses really quickly, so you can select the right antibiotic. And often these bacterial infections are growing so rapidly, you need intervention right there and then. And you'd better not be wrong by giving the wrong antibiotic. So this technology will be enabling for speeding this up and having a rapid diagnostic. The next one is Optical Waters. We heard from them earlier too. And so this is really groundbreaking technology for creating their first product, beta optostrand that was discussed earlier, and being able to provide some of the disinfections. The next one is a really interesting one. This is a combination between nursing and engineering. This is coming out of the Marie Center for Nursing and Engineering Innovation. And it's creating a new technology related to IV infusion pump technology. There are a lot of mistakes being made, particularly in ER. Often patients are hooked up to 5 or 6 different devices with a very real probability of creating errors or incorrect infusion rates. There's a new technology being developed here by having this interface between engineering to build a device and nurses, who are the frontline clinicians that actually interface with the patients most of the time, to come up with this technology. Next one is a water purification technology. This one's specifically aimed at decreasing the carbon footprint. It creates a cheaper way to create wastewater treatment, particularly in those parts of the world where you can't throw almost any amount of money at wastewater treatment. Boston can spend a lot of money doing this. Many other countries in the world cannot, and this technology is enabling for creating the same type of water purification at a much lower cost. And I think that was the 6, so hopefully you'll join me in congratulating our 6 awardees. And the final comment I'd like to make is an event like this is the first time we've done this ever at UMass, so I'm sure there's going to be some learnings that come out of that. Hopefully you've still found it useful and enjoyable, and this has been a lot of work for a lot of people, but I particularly want to thank Lisa Kopievsky, who's standing back there. And of course, Karen Utgoff, who between the two of them have not only do all the mentoring and organization around our startup companies, which is Karen's role, but also all of our marketing and communication strategy for the Institute, which is Lisa's role. So with that, thank you all for joining us, and I'll hand it back to Karen.
Next time I will read my agenda more carefully. So now we have a tour for some of you, and then lunch, and others lunch straight away. I just want to say how grateful we are to have you here. Please spread the word. As Peter said, 5 years ago, we would not have been able to present this kind of incredible range and depth of startups and pre-startups. This is just the beginning for us. Please do connect with me. We would love to talk more with you. And with that, I think we could all get up and stretch and start the tours.